We will start off the year by giving a shout out to other amazing creators in our field. Hey, I'm Jen and I'm from Guatemala.
And I'm Yvonne and I'm German.
And together we're from simplegermany.com and we help expats settle into life in Germany more smoothly. We have received some questions from you asking us what other YouTubers and people do you actually follow and like to watch? Well, in this video, we will reveal to you what we actually watch on YouTube. I mean, obviously it's in the context of life in Germany.
Yes.
Of course, we can mention like all our favorite YouTubers, but we're going to keep it focused to the life in Germany topic.
Yeah,
exactly.
Otherwise it would go on and on and on.
Exactly. So what is our first one on our list?
So the first one on our list, we start with YouTube. And the first one on our list for YouTube is the classic Easy German.
Yeah.
So Easy German is, for me, it's just amazing. I really love it. I love the concept of it. And it's basically a channel that helps you to learn German from the streets. So they literally
From the streets.
They is Karina and Janusz. They are like the two main hosts of the show in that sense. And they go around on the streets, mainly in Berlin, and interview Germans. So that is so cool because you actually get to hear the different opinions from random Germans on the street. And it's about language and culture, of course.
Yes. So the cool thing is that the interview is all held in German, but it's spoken very, like I would say, slowly.
And very articulate.
Yes. And you have subtitles that you can follow along. So Easy German is amazing for understanding culture in Germany, well, especially in Berlin, and also to learn German.
Yep.
So I've also enjoyed a lot of their content because it's just very insightful. And like you say, they have different perspectives of other Germans. So that's pretty cool. So number 2 on our list is Get Germanized. So Get Germanized is actually the oldest YouTube channel that we have discovered. He's been around for 14 years. Dominic?
12 years, I think.
12 years?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dominic, if you're watching this, 12 or 14 years. And as already mentioned, the channel is led by Dominic. He's a really funny, cool guy. And he talks really also about like culture and life in Germany. He has
Language mainly also.
Language also mainly. He does even videos on like listening to a Rammstein song and explaining the context of, because Rammstein, they play a lot with words and it's really hard to understand everything. You might understand what they're talking about.
Double meaning.
But there's a lot of double meaning. Yeah. So he actually like breaks down like Rammstein songs and explains them. Also recently he has released a few videos on German fairy tales and explains them as well. So it's super, super interesting. And all his videos are actually in English and he in between sometimes speaks German, but also with subtitles, but mainly it's in English. So Get Germanized.
On to number 3, and that is, I would argue, maybe the first one that we actually discovered years ago.
Yes, you might be right.
You discovered and showed me.
Yeah.
And that is Meet the Germans.
Oh my God,
So
yes.
Meet the Germans is not really an own channel. It's by the Deutsche Welle. And it is hosted by Rachel from the UK. She lives in Cologne, and it is just hilarious. It's a obviously professional production.
Yes.
Because it's by a TV network in a sense. And it's just really, really brilliant.
Yeah, super interesting. So the Deutsche Welle is financed by the government, right? And this is a show only available on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. The show originally started with another host, and then Rachel jumped in and took the reign, so to speak. And it's just hilarious. She has a lot of insights also in like culture shocks and how Germans behave different to like her perspective also from the UK. And they're super funny. They're super, if you haven't
really
seen
funny.
Them, they're super funny, yeah. Number 4 on our list is Passport 2. And this is by Donnie and Aubrey. And they're a couple from the US who live in Germany. And they also make videos about their experience of life in Germany and also culture shocks.
What highlights for me Passport 2 is really their way of production.
Yeah,
it's really unique and we just really, really enjoy it, that the way they put it all together. It's just their own style, which is really cool.
Yes, so super kudos to you, Passport 2, because we really love your videos. Yeah, like you mentioned, they're really well produced.
Yeah, really well
and
produced.
We enjoyed them, and they're super engaged, and it's super funny as well because they have very funny insights as well into German culture, which we can all relate to, right?
Now, number 5 is actually the last YouTube channel that we would like to mention here, and that is Life in Germany, hosted by Jenna from Canada. And Life in Germany, it's basically says it all. It's her experiences also as a Canadian living in Germany for, I would say, also like 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
And all of her ups and downs, but also a little bit of teaching, I would say, like sharing on how to do things best. And Life in Germany kind of like was created out of her original project, which is Life in Düsseldorf, which is a blog. So it's a website, and we're moving into the website scheme.
Yes. So before Life in Düsseldorf, actually, I think I also discovered Life in Düsseldorf way back when, because in Life in Düsseldorf, you also get information of things to do in Düsseldorf, restaurants, reviews, and English speaking, I think even doctors and stuff is mentioned there. So Life in Düsseldorf, like you said, it's kind of like a magazine style kind of website for Life in Düsseldorf. Really cool. If you're living in Düsseldorf, you can find very interesting stuff there. So as you mentioned, now we're jumping to the websites that we have enjoyed in the past also. Although we don't personally live in Berlin, we love the work that these two guys are doing. They're separate guys, but we just like to bundle them into two guys. And they both have really amazing websites on life in Berlin. We know Berlin is one of the top destinations for expats to land into. And of course, Berlin, we have learned by doing this YouTube channel that life in Germany is not equal in any way. It's very different from state to state. And of course, Berlin has its own quirks and whatnot.
Yes.
And so these two guys are making a really huge and amazing effort into breaking things down for all the expats. Number one on our list is Bastien from France. And his website is called Settle in Berlin. And he's been around also for like 13 years now. Yeah.
So also one of the pioneers, I would say. And he, as the name says, Settle in Berlin really targets pretty much anything that we target as well, but focused on Berlin per se. And the other guy is Nicolas. And Nicolas is from French Canada. And his website is called All About Berlin. And already the name says he also focuses on the settling part, but goes beyond that. And also actually talks about restaurants and talks about also Berlin out of the visitor's eyes. So really all about Berlin.
Yeah, exactly. Also, sometimes he puts like the latest news, and he also explains them in English. So that's super interesting for new regulations or new stuff that happens in Berlin. Also, Settle in Berlin, he does the same sometimes. So it's really a great resource if you're living in Berlin to keep up to date with the latest stuff and coolest stuff, I guess, to do and to be up to date.
Yep.
Now let's jump into podcasts. Actually, there's a few podcasts about life in Germany. Of course, compared to other topics, the amount of podcasts is very little, but there are two that we absolutely love. Number one is The Germany Experience, and this is hosted by Sean. He's from South Africa, and he has been living in Germany also for
ages.
Oh my God, I would like to say 20 plus years. I don't know, maybe I'm like, it's too much, but he's been in Germany for a very, very long time. And he has a podcast where he also talks to other expats and sharing experiences, culture shocks, and what people have experienced in life in Germany. I was a guest actually in Sean's podcast at the beginning of last year where we talked about cost of living in Germany. We will leave the link to the episode that I'm talking about in the description down below, as well as a link to all the other creators that we're mentioning in this video. And last but not least, we have another podcast that we want to give a shout out to.
And that is Understanding Train Station, which is hosted by Feli and Josh. And Feli also has a YouTube channel, Feli from Germany, and she is a German living in the US. And Josh is a US American living in Germany. So they, of course, have a lot of focus on US and Germany, but they also have quite frequently guests from other parts of the world and sharing their insights on expat living. So that makes it actually very entertaining and insightful, yes?
Yes, definitely. For example, one of the episodes that we heard was actually an interview with Rachel from Meet the Germans. And that was super interesting, super funny, because you get to see Rachel from Meet the Germans, not in like the show mode, but more you get to know more about her. And they talk about like all the struggles that we all face when being in a new country. So definitely check those out. Of course, we are biased, and we would like to say that also Simple Germany is an amazing channel that you obviously can watch, which you clearly are watching. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit that subscribe button, because if this is like the second or third time that you're seeing us and you're not subscribed, I am pretty confident that it's the YouTube gods telling you, subscribe to the channel. On that note, if you want to continue learning about German culture, we recommend watching our most successful video on German culture, which is 6 Cute Things Germans Do. Until next time,
Tschüss!